taking
Oh,
papers from
We're
his
live.
desk. It
We
felt
are.
like walking along
We
the
have 0
edge of the
viewers.
cliff
That's the
perpetually.
perfect amount.
Huh?
We
There
start
were
with
days
0,
or
right?
weeks when the
Yep.
operation seemed
And
under
hopefully it
control and
builds.
they
It
were
might
a couple of
fluctuate
steps
depending on
back
who's
from
just
the
cruising
edge.
lives.
Nice.
Other
Yeah.
times we would fall over the edge and an action would be
Puzzle.
taken. It was like you were always walking right there on the edge.
Then I should. By subjecting this to energy,
Yeah.
end up having new life. When we open the jar of peanut butter, we look in there, there's no new life.
Creationism.
What?
The holy idea that
In a jar of peanut butter.
God created
Yeah,
the cosmos
Basically,
in
is
Now,
what? Yeah, that's an argument. It's called like, oh, if atheists, God damn it, what's the argument? Oh, they misunderstand evolution by saying our argument is that the Earth came from nothing, or that they're basically attacking straw men. They say, "Oh, I can't open this jar of peanut butter, and there's no new life." They'll explain how evolution is true. If things just happen, life can't come from nothing. I can demonstrate that by this jar of peanut butter. Every time I'll let him explain.
You've heard of the experiments where they zap like goop or chemicals with electrodes,
Right.
and it turns into biological chemistry.
And it starts to animate. Yeah. I've seen those.
Then I should.
Yeah, this is so low.
By subjecting this to energy, end up having new life. When we open the jar of peanut butter, we look in there,
So let me start that from the beginning. He'll explain.
if the theory of evolution was viable, then I should, occasionally, by subjecting this to energy, end up
Occasionally,
having new life.
occasionally you're gonna find a thumb in
We look in
there.
there,
Depending on where you buy it from.
Creationism. The holy
Right
idea
in
that in the
dinosaurs.
beginning, God
Yeah.
created the cosmos in 6 days. Now, creationists usually say things like this.
Teach the controversy rather than try and censor out the information.
Was that
That-
Betsy Davis?
I don't. Probably she was equally as dumb. That's not what's happening. Science is not purposely trying, or not purposely. Science isn't active. It's not trying to purposefully suppress the concept of evolution. When you say teach the controversy, there's no controversy. There's no debate.
Well, there's
No, what
actually
happened?
0.1% of scientists disagree.
No, you-
I've been reading their articles lately.
Yep, 0.1% of them disagree. There are 3% of scientists who don't agree or acknowledge that gravity exists. So, yeah,
Have you ever thrown a paper airplane?
yes,
There's no gravity
basically, it stays floating forever. So,
until the wind knocks
My
it.
God.
Knocks it.
read these really quick. So, I've been doing this since I moved to Seattle. It's something I like to do. But it's a radio station somewhere, I think, but they're called Liberty Road. And see, they always like to, so they live somewhere else in Washington State, but they always like to bitch about things that Seattle does, right? They always like to complain about how we choose to do with our money and what we choose to do with our money. And it always annoys the dog shit out of me. So this Orca Opportunities Program is a thing that was started by the mayor. It was a promise that she made when she was running that she would provide free Orca cards 12 months out of the year, which is the entire year, for every high school
No, it's
student.
not.
Yeah, it is.
Not on leap years.
Ooh, my job. For the entire, basically free bus passes for high school students that are enrolled in Seattle public schools. And this Liberty Road, they're like a libertarian radio show, which I think libertarianism is crap anyway. Mostly
It's
because I don't think it's a real
just
thing.
dumb Republicanism.
Right. There's these conservative and these Republicans who fake objectivity. Like, I have the moral high ground because I think both parties are crap.
They want smaller government for things they dislike.
Right, they don't want smaller government. They just want government to move.
Remember the people who passed a $1.5 trillion budget increase?
Yeah.
They also don't have enough money to pay for children's education.
What? I get angry when the government pays for things using taxes. Fun fact, that's how
Socialism. Socialism.
It's when a government uses taxes to pay for stuff, that's socialism.
That's the definition of government. The military is socialism. The park you hang out with your dog
That
is
is un-American.
socialism in action.
You can't say the military is socialist. That's un-American.
Every democracy is based on socialism.
There's socialism. It's more correct to say instead of socialism doesn't work anywhere it's implemented, is that it works everywhere it's implemented. Because there's a little bit of socialism in all successful developed westernized nations. You can't not have some form of socialism and social safety net in order to be successful. That's axiomatic.
A number of our social programs don't work because they're actively being sabotaged by certain politicians.
Here's a fact. Like I don't want to be cold, but here's a thing, especially to libertarians. Government is not going away, and it's probably not going to shrink.
It's
It's
called
just not going
anarchy.
to. Yeah, government.
What's the end goal for these libertarians? Anarchy?
No, their end goals. They want what they say they want is they want freedoms for everybody, and usually when that happens, only wealthy white
gays.
right exactly when that happens, only wealthy white people get it. Because the rest of us are being subservient to people who have the authority or the ability to manipulate all of our goods for their own gain. But whatever. Anyway, this thing. So yeah, he's really mad because the Orca program doesn't cover private or charter school high school students. But that's because it's a opt-in and opt-out. So the city's like, hey, we have this program.
That's because charter schools are legalized fraud.
Right. True. Absolutely.
Like it's a for-profit. You're profiting off of children's education.
No, it's free to the students. The school district is still paying the charter schools, by the way.
The school district is paying these massive paychecks to the owners of schools. We have
Seriously.
owners of schools being paid by the government.
Yeah.
They get $7,000 a head.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Fun fact about charter schools. I'm just going to tell you, it's not an alternative. It's literally, instead of you paying the tuition directly, your school district is paying the tuition for a private school with a purposeful bias owned by a corporation. It'll be on the internet. Resume. Other French word.
Fragile?
Huh?
Fragile?
Oh, French. I thought you said Vegemite. I'm like,
You know fragile, right?
no, what is that? Oh, he's gonna explain.
How old are you?
27.
God, I'm only 30, and you've never heard fragile.
No. I'm also from
a Christmas Story. You've never seen that movie?
No.
We'll have to watch that sometime.
Sounds good.
On Christmas.
On Christmas?
Will you be around on Christmas?
Oh yeah. This is you know how most people spend Christmas with their families? Instead, I'm gonna spend Christmas with Nick. We're gonna get stoned and watch this. Flagella? What's it called?
It's called The Christmas Story,
Okay.
and it's a classic. It has nothing to do with Christmas. That's the best part.
Oh, okay. This sounds better now. I'm excited. Well, we're gonna do that.
You've probably heard this line. You'll shoot your eye out. That comes from that movie.
I'm sorry.
Do they not have movies in Australia?
They do. They have movies in Australia. They're mostly about surfing and white people dying, but
Because I'm trying to describe you this movie I saw in my childhood, and it's just not working.
I'm
Total
sorry.
fail.
Crash. I'm sorry. I'll get better. I'm trying. I've only been here almost 8 years.
I've been in Seattle fewer years, and I came from Indiana.
That's more of a foreign country than Australia. Right? Oh yeah, he goes to shit. Seattle does drifts north or whatever. And I was like, what did I say? I said, I was like, I wouldn't say usually, but that's a fair assessment. Sometimes shit that we do affect the counties around us because we're Washington State's economic and social powerhouse, and there's nothing the other people can do about it.
We're actually drifting east if you believe in tectonic plates.
True. Or if you're dumb and believe in tectonic plates, we're going to collapse into the ocean in 2 years. Because I hate that. Man, I can't wait till California slips into the ocean. I'm like, you have no idea how tectonic plates work, dude.
The polar ice caps are not looking good.
No, they're not. Florida.
There might actually be collapsing into the ocean. This
Yeah.
might be the end times.
Yeah.
That we heard Palin talking about earlier.
This might be the end times. And like all of other God's predictions, it's man-made. Oh yeah, I told him, I was like, hey, but it's also fair to say that some of your bullshit runs into Seattle. That's why we can't have income taxes or responsible gun control or build a light rail without half the state bitching about it. So, man. But also, that's how cities in a state tend to work. The bigger cities tend to have a lot of people in their governments, and then the governments help make decisions for stuff, so you get affected. It's a thing. I'll tell you about it later. I can exercise my right to gun control by not purchasing one. I don't have a right to gun control. I don't even know what that means. I would have a responsibility to it if it existed, but I don't think I have a right to gun control.
Haven't you read the 11th Amendment?
All Americans have the right to gun control.
By the way, there are more than 10 amendments for those who didn't know.
Oh, what? Gasp.
I was reading about Thomas Jefferson earlier today in Christopher Hitchens' book, and it was talking about how the First Amendment actually came from the Virginia Constitution, and it was based on basically secular rights.
Oh yeah. Whenever someone says, "Oh, well, Christianity is useful because we get our best laws from Christianity," it's like actually we got some of the worst laws from Christianity, and they were fixed by secularism. That whole humans being equal thing, yeah, that was secularism. That whole women can vote, yeah, that was secularism.
Most of the founding fathers were not Christian.
Yeah, literally, the necessity to give up a monarchy was secularist. Fun fact about monarchies: the kings and queens don't actually have power themselves. The power exists in the hat or the crown. The person's job is just to personify the thoughts and feelings of the hat. But old monarchies, it used to be that the power of the hat came from God, and it was absolutely unquestionable. That's why kings and queens are able to get away with so much shit, because you can't challenge the authority from the hat, because the hat answers to something you can't see or hear and never says hi to you. But in most monarchies today, like England and Norway and the other ones, the power of the hat comes from the Constitution, i.e. indirectly the people. So today, monarchies are limited as to what they can do because the power doesn't come from God anymore. It comes from their constitution, secularism.
Thomas Jefferson said he won his presidential election by sicking all the different Christian factions on each other. Seriously. And he said each Christian faction would rather burn everything to the ground than let one of their competitors have anything. Basically.
And
that's what he ran on. It was a wedge issue.
He just pinned all the religion. Oh God damn it. You're a great time. Thomas Jefferson was one of the founding fathers.
Love the guy.
Nice. Oh, he wrote Common Sense. No, that's Thomas Paine, right?
Thomas Paine.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson wrote the independence letter to Britain.
The Declaration of Independence.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I gotta read that thing again. Oh yeah. Okay, so what is this one? The policies. When the policies can address the issues instead of violating the rights of those who are already obeying the laws, maybe the conversation can start. State income tax. You can donate as much of the money you earn as you like to any social issue of your choosing. So put your money where your mouth is and stop depending on government to address every challenge, or start a nonprofit instead of treating government as if they're benevolent. Okay, first of all, he's like at 1,000. I need him at like a 30. like you're way up here. It's not even that serious.
He kind of touched on it, but the real issue is that we have money in politics at all.
Right.
A lot of countries have publicly funded elections where everyone gets an equal amount, because in America, power is divorced from money. At least that's the original idea. Power in America is supposed to come from your words.
Right.
And we have words being bought by money.
Right.
Every election, and all it takes is a little bit of money to swing someone's vote on an important issue the other way.
Right. And they've been saying these purchase words for so long they're actually beginning to buy their own bullshit. And it's really, really sad. That report came out about Donald Trump's health and how it's not so good. And as much as I despise Donald Trump, I would hate to believe that his own hubris is putting him into an early grave. His own, fucking ego is what would kill him. I actually wouldn't like to see that he was just so egomaniacal that he ended up destroying himself.
I think his only way out is suicide.
Right.
He's like Hitler, he killed himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That type of personality cannot be challenged.
Yeah.
And once it's game over.
He is the absolute shame of America. He is.
Paul Manafort flipped today.
Oh, he did? Oh, God. Awesome.
Yeah, not officially, but it's only a few days to his next trial, and his lawyers have been talking to Robert Mueller every day.
Oh, shit. Well, there's that. I
think that's game over. Paul Manafort.
Yeah.
He knows everything.
That's Paul Manafort. That's his best friend.
Paul Manafort was the Russian operative.
Yeah. So, the SS Trump is sinking, and you Republicans are basically the band that keeps playing and pretending like everything is fine as the boat sinks. But I'm about to be a straight jack and try to get my ass in a boat real quick.
Someday Trump will not be president. At some point in time, Trump will not be president. And what are the Trump supporters going to do on that day?
Well, right. Well, better question. What are all of our comedy networks going to do on that day? They'll have to go back to writing material.
I would do anything for a boring president.
Yeah.
You hear about Obama every few weeks or every few months.
But
with Trump, you hear about some
every
bullshit thing multiple times a day.
But you know what, though? You want to know something? I feel like, why do we need to jump right into a new president? Can we take a break? Can we take some time? We need to focus on ourselves.
Also, why is our executive branch a single person?
I don't know. I don't know. He picks basically everything.
He does.
I bet.
Especially when he has sycophants in Congress.
Oh yeah. Which agency heads in the cabinet are happy right now? The ones that are the insignificant government departments, like the Postmaster General. He's probably just stay under the radar.
I haven't heard a single word about Postmaster General this entire presidency until just
he's back there oh, you just run the post office, your department's weak, rather be this in the Department of Justice right
going
now
on my resume,
right? Exactly,
no regrets,
seriously. Hold on a second. What was I saying? I was saying something. I totally forgot what it was. Goddamn, I am so stubborn. Oh shit, we're gonna have to get more weed. Or we'll definitely get more pot.
So after the Democrats take the House, what's the next move?
I don't I don't know.
At this point, the Democrats are taking the House.
I don't know. I've been
unless Putin's still
right
in our elections.
I've basically been successfully scared into treating every single election from this point onward as if it's 50-50. At this point, I advocate take no chances. This is not I can stay home for this one election. There is no such thing as an I can stay home for this one election anymore, period. You will always need to go vote. period.com underscore for everything forever. This I don't need to vote. It's no. Like I am scared as hell this election, even though it's starting to lean Democrat. I'm still frightened. I'm still treating it as if it's a nail biter
Miracle.
because I'm hella
Was there really a
paranoid.
worldwide
The
flood?
the thing we've been missing is minority rights.
Right, definitely
Because that's what democracy is. It's majority rule, but minority rights.
true.
At some point, it's gotten better, unarguably, in the past centuries.
Absolutely.
But
Right.
lately, it feels like we're not making much progress.
Nah, we're going a little backwards. Oh, I wonder. Let me flip the camera so they can see this nonsense, and then we can. Balls. Okay, wait. It's a really bad angle. Let me. There you go. Don't you already hate her hair? I hate it so much. Her hair is so dumb.
I'm Eric Oven. Was there really a worldwide flood?
No.
Behold,
Oh God, have you seen this? Behold the Atheist Nightmare. He's gonna tell you why a banana proves the existence of Jesus Christ.
I'm Eric
Watch.
Oven.
It's so
Was there
stupid.
really a worldwide
Because it
flood?
fits in the
Behold,
The atheist's nightmare. Now, if you study a well-made banana.
this is called the crocodile. Can you see this?
I don't believe that dinosaurs lived millions of years ago.
I believe dinosaurs or dragons were basically big reptiles that lived in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. They were on the ark.
He said that whole sentence as an adult and meant it.
You know, they just have the wrong starting point. They're like, they take this little piece as truth. Why did you do that?
Yeah, it's funny. It's really
And then they come up with the silliest explanations.
with the most ridiculous shit.
Because they're like, I got this starting point, but I have to wedge this other fact in there somehow.
Yeah, I have to make it fit. I swear to God, it's wordcraft and it's so
Ark of
awesome.
Noah.
So don't believe in evolution, don't believe in millions of years.
Ken
There
Ham.
could be at least
Ken Ham.
one evidence.
I think in the Congo, there is an Apache.
Did she say she wanted us to show her one evidence? Yeah, I have this one evidence. Wait, let me see. I think she said that. Let me see.
Oh, she did.
Basically big reptiles that lived in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. They were on the ark with Noah.
So don't believe in evolution.
Wait, I have really quick before we go to the
They're
one.
on the Ark of Noah.
They were on the ark with Noah. I have several problems with the Book of Genesis. My first problem. Here's my first problem.
It's not very interesting. It's not very good literature.
It does have very good literature. My first moral problem. This is why I think even if God is real, he's a dick. So mankind is cursed, and we have painful pregnancies and sin and all this other shit because Eve ate from the apple. Now Eve ate from the tree, which I think like was a jubacabra or something like that. It's a fruit. Jabutacaba?
I don't think I'd ever said, never specified.
Oh, I think given the region, it might have been a jabutacaba or whatever the fuck it's called.
Chupacabra?
No, that's like the monster Mexican
Yeah,
mythology.
the lamb.
Yeah, he eats
Sucks
livestock.
the blood of lambs or something.
But so it was bad. God said, "Don't eat from the tree of knowledge. It gives you the knowledge of good, bad, up, down, right, wrong, whatever." Right. So God punished Eve because Eve defied God and disobeyed God and ate the apple or whatever, and that gave her knowledge of good and bad. But my concern is like if Eve didn't know that things like defiance and disobedience were bad before she ate the apple, isn't God a dick for punishing us anyway?
It's like spanking a child for dropping something.
Yeah, Eve had no clue that disobedience was bad, because the apple gave her the knowledge of that, and she did not have that knowledge until she ate the apple. But God's like, you disobeyed me, therefore I'm cursing you. It was like she's like, what's disobedience and why is it bad?
Yeah.
I didn't eat any apple yet. Like
Puppy pees on the floor, so you kick it.
exactly. Also, God's a dick.
Actually, you throw it outside.
Yeah, you throw it. All right. Also, God's a dick because if he's all planning, he's the one who put the snake in the garden to tempt Eve to eat the apple in the first place. And people say, no, Darren, that's stupid. God wouldn't purposely trick Eve to make her fuck up the rest of the world. It's funny because he hardened Pharaoh's heart. It says it right there in the Bible.
It's almost like God doesn't know how to forgive.
He is the Edward Scissorhands of creators. He wants to love, but all he knows how to do is hurt.
He was wrong.
Yeah. That God is the Edward Scissorhands of omnipotent beings. I want to laugh, but all I know how to do is hurt.
He is.
Surely there'd be at least one evidence.
Massive amount of evidence.
There would be one evidence. We have to go find her one evidence. Come on. We're gonna go find her one evidence.
It's like she believes in Scooby Doo.
She does.
Remember when Scooby Doo unmasked the fake Jesus?
No. I want that to be a thing so badly. She's shaped like a Girl Scout cookie.
Just the right shape for human mouth.
And I'm sure many of you have
She's
heard.
shaped like a Girl Scout cookie.
You know, it's also shaped the right shape for a human mouth.
That's what they say. He goes, a banana fits perfectly in your mouth. I'm like, it also fits perfectly in your
Intelligent
ass.
design.
That's right. But also, I would like to put that argument to bed by saying the bananas you see in the supermarket are manufactured. They're made. They're genetically modified. They can't reproduce on their own. They don't have any seeds. Real wild bananas are like this big and they stay green forever until they turn brown and they taste very, very bitter and dry. So when you say, look, God made this perfect banana, he didn't. Monsanto did.
Heard of Wendy Wright, Ken Ham, Kirk Cameron, Eric Hoffman.
Also, it really bothers me when Ken Ham was like, it's insulting to tell me people came from apes. I didn't come from an ape. And then here's this picture of Ken
You have
Ham.
heard of Wendy Wright, Ken Ham, Kirk Cameron.
How are you going to tell me we didn't come from apes?
Okay.
How are you going to tell me we didn't come from apes? You look like Australopithecus. Like, you look like early man.
You're not going to get me to say it.
Nope, say it.
I'm not going to say
Say
it.
it.
I'm better than
Look,
that.
no, he looks like a scientific discovery. You're the missing link. like you're the link between humans and apes, right there.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Wolverine.
Literally, if his face, he does look a little like Wolverine.
Little Hugh Jackman in there.
Yeah, or like he looks like the least developed person in the Planet of the Apes. Like everyone got more monkey, and he stopped like mid transition. I was like, fuck it. Like he looks like he's in half transition as he's about to turn into a werewolf. like just before the claws come.
The professor from Hogwarts.
Yeah, right.
Eric Hoffman.
Oh my God, why do you have children on here?
Is that Osmond?
That's Kirk Cameron
No way.
from Saved by the Bell. Yeah, he's like a professional Christian now. He's like really
Eric
good at
Hoffman
it
and
too.
others like the Banana Man, Ray Comfort. And you might think how it could possibly get any worse than they
Always
already
wanted a
are.
banana stand.
I believe,
Right.
I
This
possibly
guy.
find what is maybe the world's worst creationist. His incredible
God,
condescending
he's
nature
starting.
is so outrageous.
He thinks
I
he's
think
so
all of
smart
these
too.
people
Look at that
pale
smart
by
face.
comparison to him.
Oh yeah,
I give
definitely.
you Doug Batchelor, president of Amazing Facts Ministries. Now, Amazing Facts Ministry has channels on satellite and cable TV. And Doug Batchelor, he's traveled all over the world from India to Africa to South America to preach.
He's gone to other-
those are places.
Right.
Those are places in the world.
Wait, he's spreading this
He
nonsense
left
around
Tennessee.
Earth. Seriously, he's telling other people this nonsense. Yeah, can you not make those places worse? I'd really appreciate it. Thanks.
You know,
So without further ado,
you
here's
hit the
Doug
nail on
Batchelor.
the head.
The message of this morning
Why do
is
we
going
go
to be
there and make
very
things
simply
worse?
evolution
Because
Creation.
God told us to.
and logic.
Imperialism.
A
Right.
teaching of the theory of evolution that is being pushed. And if
Okay, seriously, he has one of the most punchable heads on Earth. Like, don't you? I want to punch it. Just that, not his face. I just want to punch him in the head. I don't know why.
He's got a large forehead.
It literally his hairline is back here.
The camera is misadjusted. They can't see it. He looks normal.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me show you this IMAX. Good thing I have. Good thing I have a 56-inch 4K because that's needed for this. It's just large.
That is a Patrick Stewart bald head.
Oh yeah, he looks like the dude from Monster vs. Aliens, but he looks like the alien, not the monster part. Like, it's thoroughly impressive. All that brain, and he's still down.
you
Who did
resist
the voice?
that,
Is that Colbert?
Huh?
you're looked
About
upon
the
as
guy that you're talking about,
uneducated
the
or ignorant.
No, that was a movie, Monster vs.
It
Aliens.
is,
Yeah,
in
he did the
essence,
voice.
a religion
Was
of
it?
evolution,
Might have
in
been.
my opinion.
Mhm.
A religion I used to be an adherent of.
Evolution is not a religion. That doesn't even make any sense.
Well, you have to believe in it.
Well, yeah, but not believing is a religion. I believe that if I get on an airplane, it's gonna fly. Doesn't
no,
make.
you don't believe that. You know that.
I believe that.
You
I don't know
have,
that.
You have evidence of it.
I don't know that. What if it doesn't fly? What if it like never takes off?
Well, we have evidence that most airplanes fly.
Right. This is true. We have evidence to support that. And all
People say it's the safest way to travel.
it is. And all my beliefs are evidence based. I don't have a single non-evidence based belief. I don't have faith in anything. I have
No?
lots of beliefs.
Have you seen the fossil record yourself?
No.
So you have faith.
God
You
damn.
have faith that the scientists compiled it correctly.
I do not. I have evidence to support that they did it correctly. There's peer-reviewed journals and the people are able to replicate it. I could see the exact process happen at the University of Washington. Down the street.
You have faith in academic journals.
No, I believe they are true based on a consistent reliability and duplication ability. I can take what's in those books and do them myself and come up with the same result.
Yes, but have you?
No, but I believe I could.
That's faith.
It is
It's
not
belief.
faith. There's evidence to suggest that if I do that, that it will come out, or that it will come
What's
out
that
accordingly.
evidence?
Huh?
What's that evidence?
That evidence is that other people have done it.
So you have faith that other people did it correctly.
No, I have evidence to suggest that other people did it correctly.
It comes down to a belief at some point.
Nope.
Like your bedrock,
there's
your
evi-
foundation
there's
has to be
evidence.
somewhere.
There's evidence for my evidence for my evidence for my evidence.
That's
right.
Turtles all the way down.
It's turtles all the way down. That's why there are no rabbits. I.e. faith. It's the faith. Yeah, sorry.
I grew up believing in evolution. It's something I was taught. It is being taught as a fact that must be embraced, and if you don't embrace it, then it is because you are a religious fanatic, you're ignorant, you have your head buried in the sand. I grew up believing.
Or you just don't understand evolution, which is fine.
Yeah,
I don't even all the way
To be
understand.
honest, there's no such thing as believing in evolution. There's understanding evolution and not understanding evolution.
Yeah, exactly. Saying I believe in evolution, you're basically saying I believe the word evolution exists. Like,
Being
yeah,
evolution.
definitely.
Matter of fact, keep in mind, some people think that you're ignorant if you believe in creation. I was a high school dropout believing in evolution. The more educated I became, I have a doctorate now, I believe in creation.
What's your doctorate?
What?
What's your doctorate in?
Oh.
like sports broadcasting.
Yes. Wait, did you just hear that? Oh, so I'm not fucking gonna waste $300,000 to become a doctor and get my PhD. I'll just become a Christian, and that will make me smarter. See, he's making the argument that when I was dumb, I believed in evolution, but now that I have a PhD, I believe Jesus created the world. Therefore, I have reason to believe that. And it's like, nope, you got a PhD in something stupid. And it's because you believe in something stupid. Because I bet his PhD is in like theology or something.
Probably theology.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Or he's like a doctor of mythical studies or some shit like that. Yeah, which, technically you have a PhD.
You know, I really became an atheist because I was really into Roman mythology growing up. I had a few Roman mythology books. But they were next to my Bible. And at some point, the stories started overlapping.
Are you serious?
Yeah, demigods were very popular in ancient Rome.
Oh, yeah.
What is Jesus?
Actually, yeah, this is
He's
true.
He's a bastard son of a god. That's a demigod.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and his story is not original. There's a lot of like sons who died and rose from the dead and all this other shit. There's YouTube videos about it.
The golden rule actually came from Confucius.
Oh, really?
And that's like the number one thing Jesus is known for is the golden rule, treat your neighbor as you treat yourself, peaceful shit.
Oh, yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah, also, I really wish people stop telling me, would you like, the 10 Commandments, they basically provide all the best laws. Don't steal, don't kill. Fun fact: people were already not stealing and not killing when they wrote the Ten Commandments.
And the Ten Commandments are only among Jews.
Yeah.
It's okay to rape and pillage.
Right.
Just not you can't.
You can't do it to Jews.
You can't do it to Jews.
Exactly. And also, by the way, which 10 Commandments? There were like what, 5, 4 or 5?
Well,
3 or 4?
they're written on 2 tablets, and he dropped one of them. There was originally 15.
Right, 15. That's right. That's how that went. Okay. Yeah. So which 10 Commandments? But yeah, also the 10 Commandments just wrote down not to do shit people were already not doing. We recognize intrinsically that things like murder for no reason is counter to social development. So it's not like, I made these rules and then all of a sudden everybody stopped not murdering. It's nope, they were already not murdering.
The really big ones that are just implicit in the religion are the first 3 that say, I am the only God.
Yeah.
That's the
Monotheism.
monotheism. That might be rule number 1.
Right.
Actually. There are no other gods.
Yeah.
I think there's a separate one.
Mhm.
He says, I'm the only God, and then reiterates, there are no other gods.
Right. Well,
Just to make sure.
He says it's weird because he's monotheism, so he's the only God. But then God himself acknowledges there are other gods when he tells you that you should put none before him. So he acknowledges there are other gods. You shall put no other gods before me.
You don't say that.
So he acknowledges that there are other gods. They just shouldn't go
And
before
he's
him.
a jealous God.
And he's a jealous God because
what is jealousy only arises when you're afraid of losing something to someone else.
yeah. And when you're 13 and a girl. That's a lie, and boys too. Yeah, and when Brad totally took Jessica to the prom instead of me, I wasn't jelly. That's God. Well, yours anyway. That's for you. Oh crap! You have to go back with me. Let me go back more week.
Yeah, another one.
No?
There's one more in there.
Oh, sweet. He's gonna be like, I smoke all the weed. I'm like,
I
weed
smoke a lot. My tolerance is pretty high.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Let's go buy some more. I'll buy you some.
no, you don't. You don't do that.
Alright.
No, no, you don't do that. It's I think we have money in the jars anyway to go through. But
So actually,
if you want to walk there, we can walk
it's
together.
the
and just buy
ignorant
pizza.
people that
I think
listen
it's
to
all the way
the
up on
biased
14th.
doctors
Yeah, I'm out
and
with myself.
scientists
Huh?
I'm out
that
of weed
cling
myself.
to this
Okay, we can do that after we're
that
done
are
fucking
being
with this.
deceived. The
Oh,
reason
yes.
that the religion of evolution is so important to so many is because they don't want to be accountable to God. They do not want to be held responsible for their actions.
He got it. He figured it out. He's a genius.
Society holds you responsible for your actions.
Right. Yep. He nailed it. The reason why I like that evolution is forced on me is because I really don't want to have to say sorry to God. I don't want to have to do it. I want to be able to smoke meth and have sex with men and go on about my day and not have to talk to anybody about
They
it.
completely misunderstand the concept of not believing in something. It's like it's like the
Right.
difference between golfers and people who don't golf. I don't spend my day thinking about
Not golfing.
not golfing.
Exactly. How I'm roaming around. I'm not golfing right now. I'm so not golfing right now.
And I feel dirty.
Yeah, and I'm a whore. I'm a non-golfing whore. Right, exactly. No one does that. That's so dumb. I don't want to not believe in God. I don't actively go to man, I'm trying to do everything in my power to not believe in God. No, keep your God away from me. I walk down the street, I see a church, I cross the street and do this. Oh, that
Your
God.
God touched me
Show me where the God touched you.
everywhere.
Here. Here. All over my baby.
I felt it. I felt it
He
everywhere.
was in me. right.
Inside of you.
No.
Inside of you.
Also, something
There's a
else.
part of Jesus inside of you.
Oh, also, religious people, please stop telling me you know or feel things in your heart. That's not what your heart does. It pumps blood. There are no neurons in your heart. Someone told me, your problem is you think with your brain. You need to think with your heart. It's like, I would, you see, but that's not how my heart works. I can't think in it because there's no neurons in it. I know what you meant colloquially, but that's even stupid to say colloquially because I can't conceive of thinking in my heart. I don't know how to do that. I don't even know how to pretend to do that. Because if I
You
think
have to use your mind brain.
yeah, you have to use your mind brain to use your heart brain.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that some shit?
Uh-huh.
I can't think about thinking with my heart without using my brain to think about it. That's so stupid.
It's just a misunderstanding of human biology from Egyptian times.
Right. You thought in your heart.
Yeah.
God,
They would actually pull your brain out by sticking like what looked like a crochet needle up your nose and just digging it out because they needed you to not rot. And the brain, they didn't even know what the fuck it did. They thought the heart was the center of thought. And so they respected the heart and they literally just jabbed a needle up your nose until they scraped out all the brain matter.
That's painful. And
That's when they were mummifying people.
And that's where people get the term think with your heart. That
Yep.
is so stupid. People who say that, stop saying that. That's dumb. That's really dumb. And then you'll be laughed at for it in the face.
Do you think they really think that? Do you think they really think that their heart is doing something?
I honestly think they do. Because
It's not
I've
just
heard
an idiom.
no, I definitely heard people argue it so adamantly. Because when I talk to people, they're like, "Oh,
Really?
you seem to like to use logic, and you seem to be really logical." See, I think that's what you're thinking with your brain. You're thinking with your brain, and then they go to think with your heart, and I'm like, "Stop saying that like you know what it is. Like stop saying that like you can do that. You don't even think with your heart. No one thinks with their heart. It's so stupid."
I think with my penis.
Your penis drives thought, which happens in your brain.
Yeah, they're in constant communication.
Right now, his penis wants a vagina, but I think that's every time, right? That's basically clock. That's all around the clock. My penis is telling me, "Hey, the air conditioner is a little cold," but I'm not gonna turn it up. Are you cold?
I'm fine.
Oh, I'll leave it on then. I'm wearing a sweater. Anywho, what were we talking about before that? I fell into penises. It's happened before. Really hard to climb out.
Like, are we talking like a Chuck E. Cheese ball pit?
Oh yeah, just dicks. just lying there like a L'Oreal commercial. Just like I'm falling on a mattress in slow motion. They all jump up and surround my baby. And you could do that. And you find like 6,000 dildos. Just fall into them. Oh yeah.
That'd make a good commercial.
That would make a good commercial. How would it be for?
They might just be really stiff and you'd hurt yourself.
True, yeah. I mean, they would mold into like concrete or something.
They wouldn't move much and you'd like break your shoulder.
but I feel like given the nature of commercial these days, because literally the commercial is so something random and it won't be related at all to the product. I feel like
Old Spice.
yeah. I feel like someone like falling into a big fucking kiddie pool full of dildos and it bouncing in the air and then just the words like United Airlines. Something like totally unrelated to what's happening. Like you're just falling into this thing full of dildos. United Airlines, we fly safe.
I love commercials like that. The problem is that aren't effective because it divorces the funny thing from the brand.
Yeah.
So how do you solve that problem?
I don't know. I just know I don't want to fly anymore. Now I just want dildos. I don't know. I think
Maybe just better writing.
True. Maybe it's an abstract to get you to associate things you wouldn't normally associate that brand with to do it. So from that point, every time I see a dildo, I'm gonna think to book with United.
Nice.
Or every time I fly United, I think, man, I really gotta buy some dildos.
Or when you see an image of Colin Kaepernick, you know to burn some Nikes.
You know to burn some Nikes. Well, oh, by the way, PSA real quick, before you burn your Nikes, DM me in my message, in my inbox, and I'll tell you my size, and then you can send them here, right? So don't burn your new Nikes. Send them to me instead. I'll burn them for you. How about that?
I think you're gonna get exactly 0 Nikes.
I'm not gonna get any Nikes. Oh, also, please stop acting like Nike is like crippling and crying because conservatives stop wearing their Nikes. Something to keep in mind. Conservatives didn't wear Nikes in the first place.
There's also a big point in advertising is that negative news is most times good news.
Yes.
It's free advertising.
Yes.
There's a lot of people on the side of Colin Kaepernick, and
Yup.
now they're much more likely to purchase the brand.
Yup.
So overall, it's probably going to increase sales.
Oh, definitely. Also, Nike is not a philanthropic business. They're not doing Colin Kaepernick any favors. They knew exactly what they were doing. They calculated the loss beforehand. They're not stupid. They're not a benevolent company. They're not trying to do something good here. They knew this would make them a metric dick ton of money, and that's exactly what happened.
Let's be honest, there are no benevolent companies. They do
Right.
things that will benefit their bottom line.
Right.
Giving to charities is something that they can advertise for.
right.
We're the good guys.
Well, I mean, but see, the good news is their charity is tax deductible. So, is it really charity though? Oh,
You can live any way you want. There is no God you will be accountable to. This
woo.
whole evolutionary religion is to undermine the teachings of truth that you find in the Bible. Image.
I mean, yeah, actually, I wouldn't say that's its goal. I'd say it's more its effect.
When you live in a universe where the Bible defines truth,
Right.
he is right.
True. Someone, who is that guy? Oh, he told me to find a single contradiction in the Bible. So he gives me a Bible. He's like, find me one contradiction. Find me one problem in the Bible.
Point to a page.
Literally. I was like, I will read you the first verse in Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Already ran into a problem. like, we know how the earth was formed. We know exactly where it came
It
from.
came from an accretion disk from the forming of our solar system.
Exactly.
When the sun formed, there was leftover matter, and as it circled the sun, it turned into a sphere, and we live on it.
Right, exactly. Additionally,
And
the
it became a
Bible,
sphere because of gravity, not
right?
because of a god shaping it.
Seriously,
And Earth isn't flat, people. The Earth is not flat.
Oh, but there are people who think the earth is though, and they're usually Christians. But also,
They're usually Christians.
it's true.
Oh, because the sky is actually called the firmament.
The firmament, and it's the
a
plastic
dome.
dome
It's a
around
dome.
the flat Earth
Yep, and it
and the
describes,
ice wall.
describes all the motions of the stars and the planets and the galaxies.
Oh yeah, which by the way, yeah, the Bible doesn't really account for space and the other planets we discovered. As
There's
far
ways of wedging it in, but they just really don't make so much sense.
yeah, the Bible literally only tells us, arguably, God created the Earth. So anything,
There's a lot more out there.
yeah. So anything
You
outside,
you left these two things out, God.
yes, yeah. How about you forgot to mention the rest of the universe we now know exists. So if that can't be attributed to God, because I have a feeling that God is a bit braggadocious. So if he created the universe, he would have told you he
He
did.
really likes talking himself up.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I would
Have you read the book of Job?
that chapter might as well have been called "Look at My Dick, I'm God."
Yep.
Like,
You did not evolve. It's the devil's idea to lower that standard and make us act like beasts. The validity of marriage, about racism, about
Racist.
Right.
sin, and fooling with life and suicide, and so many things that are plaguing our society can be traced back to evolution.
Racist.
can we trace back to evolution? There's nothing evolutionary about racism. It's not. It doesn't serve for us to form and to fit in our environment at all. What's up?
Humans haven't really changed at all in about 100,000 years.
No.
Humans changed in the past 10,000 years,
Mhm.
but our brains have not.
And the concept of calling that color or the pigmentation a something, like the concept of race, is only about 500 years old. We used to not even conceptualize differentiating groups based on the tone of their skin until about 500 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, the concept of race is actually relatively new.
Why?
That's why whenever someone says, race can't go away, I'm like, actually, it's not even that old. It was invented.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's always been around.
Nope. It's only about 500 years old. It started getting introduced with the introduction of the first slave trades, and to find a new reason to justify the, an extra religious reason to justify the enslavement of
Capturing
people.
savages who don't believe in Jesus Christ as Savior.
Yeah, they started creating words like black and Caucasian and other words to other people of different skin tone.
What's a more accurate term than black?
People from the African diaspora.
I mean, color-wise.
Oh, I don't know. Brown. brown, purple in some cases.
Okay.
Although I honestly don't know why we are called people of color. My skin tone usually remains pretty static, regardless of emotion, weather, or whatever.
Purple lives matter.
White people, however, change when they're cold, when they're hot, when they're dead, when they're alive, when they're wet, when they're dry. They turn like 30.
When we have zits,
Yeah.
Some people just call them bumps.
White people turn like 30 different colors depending on their situation. They're like iguanas. It's cold, they're blue. They're dead, they're blue. / green, kind of. Then when they're hot, they get really red.
They're
So
like chameleons that demonstrate what's going on with us.
yeah, I'm like, how are we people of color? Like you guys paint with all the colors of the
Like, look
wind.
at his rosy cheeks.
Oh yeah,
Like, he looks totally hammered.
he looks like Santa in the off season. Santa in the off season goes to church and just gets high.
Where the fuck are the cookies?
Oh, I can't wait this is over. I'm gonna get those Oreos.
And it is beyond me.
He looks like he is fighting.
It is beyond me. Yes, that's the first true thing you said.
Right?
It is beyond
It
you.
is beyond you. He looks like he's like has to poop so bad, so he wants him to finish.
How any African American could embrace evolution. Because really, it was forged in the bowels of trying to prove that some humans were more highly developed than others.
No,
Ow. Your
No.
words hurt my face.
it was finches in the Galapagos.
Yeah. No one was trying to actually, early evolution didn't even look at humans whatsoever. It didn't even involve humans. But when he said, I don't understand how any African American could believe in evolution. So it's justifiable for white people to believe in evolution. But if I could believe it, why?
I don't know his reasoning there.
I don't either.
It doesn't make sense.
I think he just pulled it out of his ass.
That was the context of what was happening. If you examine the evidence, it just really proves the Bible. You don't look at the Bible to arrive at your
No,
conclusion.
it doesn't.
If you look at the evidence, it substantiates what the Bible is teaching.
I want to address something he said that angered me.
Take my effort.
Science is a process. It's a process in which we work to find epistemology. Epistemology is a study or theory of how we find truth, objective truth. So when he said, you don't start off, he goes, wait, what did he say? I'll repeat it.
Really proves the Bible. You don't look at the Bible to arrive at your conclusion. If you look at the evidence, it substantiates what the Bible.
Science works objectively. It starts from a question and then comes up with a tentative answer based on the evidence. The way Christianity works backwards, it assumes it knows the answer and then works to find evidence to substantiate the answer. It is the literal anti-science. Like, I don't know if there's a name for that process, but considering I've only seen it in things like Christianity, it should just be called Christianity.
Yeah, it's just reverse logic. You start with your conclusion,
Yeah.
and then you work backwards.
Imagine where we'd be if NASA started off saying, I know the moon is made of cheese. Now let's dedicate all of our resources to substantiating that the moon is made of cheese. So they've done things like not let anyone go to the moon because
Space
from far
Force.
away, yeah, it looks like cheese. They've done things like spray cheese scented stuff in the air at night, so you can they do things like that to substantiate the claim that, and instead of going to actually figure out if it's made of cheese, they just say we know it's cheese, So now let's operate NASA as if the moon is cheese. They like fucking dairy coat rockets just in case, you know, it's shit like that. That's not how science works. It's literally science in reverse. It's anti-science. It's how you unscience. You don't start from the answer and then work your way backwards. You start from a non-answer and work your way to a tentative one. It's so dumb. Don't do what he
Bible is
does.
teaching. Now, I was one of those people who first tried to take my evolutionary beliefs and mix them with the Bible. And I said, well, those 7 days of creation really were probably ages. Now, have you run into Christians that believe that? They try to they don't want to be embarrassed
Oh, look at
because
them making
evolutionists
stuff
love
up.
to
He would never
scowl
do that.
and look down.
Right,
on
right. Seriously.
Creation is they're ignorant. Don't be intimidated by that. You have nothing to be ashamed of.
Yes, you do.
Because the things I believe are correct, anyone who says otherwise
It's
should
dumb.
be ashamed of them.
Right,
Black
yeah,
evidence
shame.
Side of the
Shame.
evolutionists, they have the burden
Shame.
of proof.
Shame.
And
Look
some
at him
people
pointing
say
his
that,
finger.
it was
Right. I love how he's talking to evolutionists like he's talking about evolutionists like he's talking about atheists. You know, there are people who don't believe in God and also don't believe in evolution. They're not mutually exclusive. You can be an atheist and still doubt evolution. They're not one and the same. That's why people are like, oh, well, how do you prove evolution? I'm like, I don't have to. I can find out evolution is fake tomorrow. I still don't believe there's a God.
There's a lot of uneducated people in third world countries that have no concept of either thing.
Yes. It's so ridiculous. Like, my atheism is not contingent on evolution existing. Evolution can be fake tomorrow, and I still don't believe there's a God because it still doesn't get me any closer to one. It just tells me that the universe wasn't or people didn't exist. Things don't develop the way we thought they developed. That's all it tells me. It doesn't tell me anything about a God. So he's talking to creationists about evolutionists as if all evolutionists are like, here's what we have that disproves God. It's not. That's
There's
dumb.
over millions of years that God, these days are really millions of years. Well, he makes the vegetation on the third day. He doesn't make the sun until the fourth day. How's the vegetation going to live for millions of years without a sun? Well, Doug, if there's no sun, then where was the light when God said, let there be light? God is light. When he came to this...
God is light.
Let me sum this argument up for you.
So hold on, we have solved the
Everything. We solved the everything.
Like, why do we even have a CERN super collider? God is light.
God is light.
From that, we can derive everything else.
And he's perpetual light. He's the light from the sun that sometimes gives people cancer.
Oh, I finally get it. God goes through a prism and then he turns into three people.
Yeah. The Father, the Son, and the Spirit. Holy Spirit. Holy shit, I'm a Christian now.
Rainbow power.
You just made sense for God. Sometimes it actually really disturbs me, the arguments I fell for when I was a Christian. Some guy told me, because I brought up the concept
It's
that...
like being told Santa Claus really exists by everyone you know.
Yeah, by like full-grown adults with brains and everything. Like there are whole universities dedicated to the idea that Santa Claus exists.
Including the one I graduated.
Including the one he went to. Some of the best schools in the country are dedicated to people that operate on a presupposition that Santa is real.
I learned a lot at Notre Dame, though. My philosophy professor and my religion professor are actually really open-minded. My religion professor told me Jesus was actually executed because he threw a fit in the temple. That's where the richest people were selling things outside of the temple. And he shows up there in a manic rage and starts flipping tables and hurling profanities at the richest people in Rome.
Jeez.
You get thrown in prison for that shit.
Yeah,
Even
you
today.
Yeah, you do.
You can't flip tables over.
Right, the fuck. My school didn't mention Jesus. Just like science and shit. Yeah, you feel it.
You're lucky. Separation of church and state. It
Oh.
was Thomas Jefferson.
Hey, that doesn't really exist.
Thomas Jefferson?
The separation of church and state.
Not if Betsy DeVos has her way.
Right. That's,
Chaotic orb, he said, let there be light. He was the source of light. He began to.
oh yeah, here was his basic argument. This is
He
literally what he
is
said.
light, and he's the source of light. Okay, my cosmology is starting to take shape.
right. I'm gonna sum up his argument. He's complaining that there are Christians who try to justify the evolution with the Bible. Oh, by 6 days he really meant this long because of perception and all this other stuff. But you know how I know that's wrong? Because here's what I believe. I believe that he really meant 6 days. That's what he said.
So the argument is self-defeating because they can only have it one way.
Mm-hmm.
First, they're arguing the universe can actually be billions of years old, and the Earth can be billions of years old because the days could have meant epochs.
Yeah.
They also argue that evolution isn't real. Those things are somewhat mutually exclusive. What are they trying to prove? They're trying to
Yeah.
say the universe is only 7 years old, but the Earth also has long enough for evolution to have happened.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. They do this sort of box thinking where they take all these concepts that they think is an argument and they solidify that into one ideology. It's not the case. You have to separate them.
It's kind of how Donald Trump operates. So
That's
he'll
exactly
argue
how it
one way for something, and the next day he'll be completely the opposite side.
Absolutely.
And he's able to do that because
Absolutely.
the same kind of reasoning he just used.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Like, seriously.
Spin the planet, that separated day from night. That's not a problem.
It is.
I believe when it says he made the sun the fourth day, he did it the fourth day. You know why? He doesn't want to worship in the sun.
Oh my God, that made sense. That's how God created the earth or the universe in 6 days.
We
On the-
actually have science that said that the sun came first before the Earth was created. It was just basically pebbles scattered around the solar system.
Yeah. Well, the sun would have to come first. But see, actually, what's funny is that in the Bible, it doesn't say in that order. In the Bible, actually, I want to do this because this doesn't make any sense. In the beginning. Okay. Oh, here it is. The 7 days of creation. So here's the thing. Day 1, it created day and night. Day 2, the sky and the sea. And God said, let there be firmament in the midst of the waters and divide the waters, whatever. Day 3, land and vegetation. Day 4, stars, the sun and the moon. And day 5, sea creatures and birds. And day 6, I'm sure they're about to tell me. Okay, I'm just going back to this. Whatever. I don't need to go as far as 6. I just need to go as far as these 2. We know and understand that plants need the sun to live. So how did these plants live without the sun? How could there be plants?
They could go one day without the sun.
I mean, I guess they could go one day without the sun. But how did they create without the sun?
Well, there was no evolution. God just made them as they are.
Oh, you just popped them in a place. That's fair. Okay, I'll give him that. That's solid T. I can see that. That they could go one day without the sun, sure. Although, how would they photosynthesize initially? Oh, I guess God can photosynthesize them because he is the light. Okay, that's fair. Wait, day 2, the sky and the sea. How did he create night and day without the sun and moon?
That is actually a really good point.
Yeah, found another Bible paradox. My favorite. So day 1, he created night and day, which we know are caused by the sun and moon, which he didn't create until day 4. Also, another Bible paradox: an omnipotent, omnipresent, benevolent God cannot give you free will, because if you have free will, you have the ability to deviate from his plan, and there he's not omnipotent or omnipresent. If you can't deviate from his plan, then you don't have free will. I don't.
The problem of evil.
Yeah.
Philosophy.
Yup. Yeah, which, by the way, the problem with evil, to say that God has no hand in creating evil is just dumb. He absolutely does, because he created everything. Therefore, it's his fault. I don't think free will exists because if you define free will as the ability to do what you want, I don't believe you can control what you want. You can control what you do, and it's independent on what you want. I can't want to kick a puppy in the face. I can do it, but that's independent on whether or not I want to. And I can't really control that want.
I could make you want to kick a puppy in the face.
You can convince me, but I also can't choose what convinces me of something. Whenever someone asks me what would be good enough evidence, what would convince you to believe in God, I always tell them I don't know. It could be anything from God literally sitting in my living room to a crack in the sidewalk where I'm like, oh my God, that convinced me of God. I don't know what will convince me. I won't know it until it convinces me. That's just how that works. I can't tell you these things. Like I don't believe in free will. I don't believe you can choose what you believe either. I didn't choose to believe in atheism. I didn't choose to believe in Christianity. I just
didn't choose?
believed it.
Just like your sexuality?
Yeah. Well,
You were born that way?
I was born that way. Well, yeah. Try to believe in leprechauns are real right now.
I graduated from Notre Dame. Leprechauns are real. I've seen them with my own eyes on the field during football games.
All right, there. Then try to not believe in leprechauns.
Oh God. I don't know if I can.
See? And even if you say, okay, fine, I don't believe in leprechauns, that is independent on whether or not you made yourself not believe in leprechauns. Either you stopped believing them and you couldn't control that, or you still believe them and you're lying and can't control it.
Okay, I don't believe leprechauns exist.
Do you really not believe leprechauns exist?
No, I've seen it with my own eyes.
He can't control what he believes. He can't unbelieve in leprechauns after having seen a leprechaun. I
was actually trying to convince my niece this weekend that the leprechaun had magic.
Is that like a marketing tool? I feel like it is. That's how they
trying to sell her on watching football.
That's how they secretly get people to go to Notre Dame.
It's all about the football there.
It's like, oh, I can't pronounce it like that.
That's the French.
Yeah.
Thing. We say it the English, the American way.
Hey, Notre Dame.
Yep.
Did I get it right?
Yep.
Awesome.
That's if you have a southern accent, yeah.
Notre
Dame.
I got that from that movie Joe Dirt.
Yeah. Joe Dirte.
Joe Dirte.
Dirte. The vegetation can live by the light of God. Let me share something with you that evolutionists don't want you to know.
Yep. Oh no, they're about to tell our secrets.
Wait. What is our secret that we don't want them to know?
I don't know. I think we're about to find out the secret.
Let's figure this out.
Right. Wait. Code 37. We got a code 37. Take him out. And then all the evolutionists send in black helicopters.
Don't let him say
to remove the threat.
Cover his mouth.
We couldn't let him reveal the big secret.
He was the microphone out of his hand.
He was the only creationist.
Drop the mic.
He was the only Christian we told. Couldn't let him tell the world.
Illuminati.
Right. Like every evolutionist in their sleep. I sense a disturbance in the force. Like I'm getting something. This is like oh no.
It's if a billion voices cried out and then we're suddenly silent.
Right. Yeah, all right, go ahead. Reveal the big secret.
During the global flood,
Oh God.
when creatures die, different kinds of creatures, reptiles, mammals, amphibians, bodies have different gases and
Oh no, he's going to the lizard argument. No.
Gases and density.
No, you can't tell him.
they will sink and float at different times. But they say that these fossils are millions of years old. You know how they date many of the fossils? Listen carefully. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Radio.
They date the fossils based on the strata of Earth where they find them. If they're deeper, they're older.
No.
Do you know how they date the strata of Earth, the layers of Earth? Based on the fossils. Are you listening carefully?
No.
You ask them, so how do we date these strata? Well, it's based on the fossils that we found there. So how do we date the fossils? Based on the strata where we find them.
There's scientific evidence.
It's circular reasoning.
That aren't related to each other.
I don't. It hurts so bad.
We don't just use carbon dating either. That's only used for about the last 10,000 years of time. It's not relevant.
Right.
Before that, it's got a different name. It's radiometric dating.
I-
So there's a bunch of different types of isotopes we look for that are different periods of time. Like if we want to go back 1 million years, there's a certain type of isotope we look for. If we want to go back 100 million years, there's a different isotope we look for. And carbon is only useful for about 10,000 years in the past. So when people say that carbon dating can't date dinosaurs, they're actually correct.
Oh wow. I didn't know
It's like I don't remember, but it might be like mercury dating and phosphor dating.
Right.
They're different. They're for different ranges of times.
But we don't use carbon dating anymore.
Carbon dating is for like
radiometric dating, right? Like you
well,
said.
radiometric dating is the broad term for all the different types
Gotcha.
of chemicals elements you can look for,
Okay.
isotopes.
Gotcha. Well, I love how he thinks that was our big secret. That's what we didn't want them to know. Damn it. You found our isotopes.
He didn't look into the evidence for either one.
No.
So one of two things is happening here. He either doesn't understand why we believe those things to be true, or he's lying. He's not being intellectually honest.
I think the first one. Judging by his previous arguments, there's a lot of things about evolution that he doesn't understand. He literally said the words evolution was discovered because someone was trying to prove racism was okay.
It's not just something someone thought up when they were drunk in a bar.
Yeah, exactly. It's representation and natural processes that have occurred over observable millions of years.
Talk about a desperate effort to try to prove something that isn't true. For years, the scientists tried to say, well, how did the evolutionary scientists, how did the dinosaurs die off? And they had all these theories of disease, changes in the atmosphere. And finally, they had to come to the conclusion, we found all these fossils in great heaps together, covered with silt. They obviously died in some cataclysmic flood. They could not deny it any longer. The evidence was so overwhelming. So you know what they said? Instead of saying,
No one said
maybe there
that.
was a worldwide flood like the Bible says, they said, an asteroid must have hit the Earth and caused a flood and buried all the dinosaurs. Have you heard this before? They're trying to find a way to get around the Bible account and still account for the fact that there's obviously been a global flood. You cannot show from scientific observation an example.
There is no evidence that there's been a global flood that's not true.
Right. What? Right.
You can't just claim facts.
You can't.
This video looks like it's made from a few years in the past, but these are clearly alternative facts.
Yeah, they're very much alternative facts. You know what's funny? The Egyptians finished their pyramids around the time the global flood's supposed to have happened.
Only if you believe in carbon dating.
True. That's true. But I do.
Carbon dating was created by the devil to mislead us and take us from the true path.
Ah, damn it. Well then shit. Okay, well then now I'm a Christian. I have to. Because I believe that came from the devil, which is a creature of the Bible.
Did you know that fossils actually were invented by Jews in the 1920s?
Oh wow. I did not know that. Was it to make Mel Gibson movies?
I bet if Mel Gibson did 23andMe, there would be Jewish in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How
would there
just
not be
absolutely
Jewish in there?
destroyed would he be?
Oh, he would cry. He would cry so
You
hard.
think he's repented?
Yeah, he's given himself 40 lashes.
Organization and design and interworking systems coming to chaos anywhere that's observable in the universe. You cannot, and this is for me a slam dunk.
Record of galaxies.
If
and
they
solar
believe
systems.
All right.
the life began
You think
spontaneously
solar
without
system,
any.
is that true? Can that possibly be true? What are stars?
Right? No, he's making the argument that there has to be a God because everything is in order and there's no chaos. And I'm like, the whole universe is basically just one big chaotic fuck circle.
Oh, did you know that up until the last few decades, actually, we didn't know if there were exoplanets. We had never seen one.
What's an exoplanet?
A planet that orbits a star that's not our star.
Wow. That's neat.
And so people didn't know if there were other planets at all. They just didn't know. No one had ever seen one. It's mind-boggling
That
to think
is.
that there's only 2 planets in the entire universe that are habitable:
Yeah.
Mars and Earth.
Right. Therefore, God.
Therefore, God.
Yep. It's the watchmaker. Is it what they call watchmaker's argument?
The number one thing I'm looking for is a signal from outer space, because that would just shatter Christians.
Oh man, just in the face. Like, oh, look at that. Also, by the way, the Earth is not perfectly fine-tuned for human survival. We basically have a 100-degree radius in which we can survive. Everything outside of my apartment is trying to kill me. We have shit like bacteria and viruses that are constantly wiping out scores of us. 70% of the world is covered in water and less than 1% of it is drinkable. I basically can only survive naturally in 2 out of my 5 existing atmospheres and literally nowhere else in the universe. If anything, this universe was designed for the tardigrade. That fucking thing can survive in space. So can spiders.
We give God so much credit for human civilization instead of giving credit to human beings. We built this shit. Don't thank God. We did this.
God fucked this universe up so bad we literally had to create something called climate control. Oh, like that's how suck ass of a job he did.
None of us like the temperature
at
all.
Whatsoever. People, so some guy on my Facebook yesterday was like, "Oh, you feel so arrogant that you could do a better job at designing than God." I'm fuck yeah.
I'm a computer programmer, a software engineer, computer scientist. Yes, I can say definitively that I could.
Same. I'm just a regular person. I would have known not to put someone's throat hole and breathing hole and eating hole in the same fucking location. There's a threat of seriously not being able to breathe every time you eat food, which
God
you have to do a lot.
Too many holes.
Right. Literally, yes.
That's why pee and babies come from the same place.
Because he's smart when he designs things.
Multi-purpose, if you will.
Oh yeah, definitely. I also wouldn't have made the reproductive system so ridiculously complicated if my goal was to make sure there was lots of people. I probably made something simpler, like a handshake or something else that didn't involve physical labor for a while, and then a really painful and disgusting system. I would have designed something.
It's almost like selective breeding.
Yes, it is. It's currently easier to manufacture a car than it is another human. And I would have designed it similar. I would have given the child the human what's the word I'm thinking of?
Humanry.
Humanry?
Oh, yeah, I like that adjective.
Humanry. It's a little humanry for me. Human reproductive system, that's what I was thinking of. I would have made it a lot more like assembling a Ford Focus. Simpler, automated, clean, precise. There would have been no guess to whether or not you're gonna have a baby. It's going to happen like an assembly line.
It would be an IKEA
representation.
An IKEA person that could be built by a robot.
Absolutely. So we would have absolutely done a better job.
That's how you would self-replicate.
Right.
You would choose to have a baby by building one.
Absolutely. So that is one way we would do a better job at designing a universe than God ever could. Because this universe is a bit fuck-ass, if we're being honest.
In the next few decades, we're going to create self-aware software.
Yep.
Self-aware digital minds.
Actually, talking to the author of you. Dude is really
see how well we do playing God.
Right? Oh, shit.
Then why can't any of the scientists or evolutionists anywhere in the world produce one single example of a cell of life being produced by scientists? No matter what kind of laboratory environment we create, they have not been able to do it once, and yet they say it happened all over the world.
It
really?
Only happened
That's not very scientific.
One time.
If it's scientific, show me.
Right.
Now, can I show you where God created? No. Exhibit A, what happens? They will find particles of a skull somewhere in Africa, no other bones. They won't find complete skeletons. They'll find particles of a skull, and a very ambitious evolutionist, who, by the way, is being funded in order to find things. If he stops finding things, he loses his...
Okay, enough of this missing link bullshit. Seriously.
Dude, there's so many links that we found.
Yeah, and that's not even how evolution works. It's not one species of animal turning to another species of animal. It's one species of animal that get moved somewhere else and must adapt to their somewhere else. We didn't evolve from primates. We are actively right now primates. We are primates who move to a different part of the world that require different shit, like
We're not
upright
just,
mobility.
We're not
and-
just primates, we're great apes.
We're great apes, yeah. We moved to a part of the world that required for us to stand on our feet instead of our hands and feet. We moved to a part of the world that required us to stand upright.
You know why standing upright is so beneficial?
What's that?
You don't know?
Mm.
That's the entire basis of your argument.
The entire basis of my argument was not that we didn't change from species to species, that we're all the same species, we just evolved differently based on our location and exposure.
The reason anthropologists talk about standing upright as being so important is hands instead of hooves. We have hands. Think about how much you can do with hands.
Yeah, the opposable thumb is like the cornerstone
Right.
of our ability to do shit.
It actually is.
Yeah, literally all the buildings you see in the downtown areas of your local large city, you can basically attribute to opposable thumbs. But I think you should not debate a pastor on evolution. That's fine.
That's the perfect person to debate on evolution.
That is the
because
perfect
we're-
person to debate on evolution.
We have conviction.
I would totally, yeah. Not only can we look at it objectively, but the guy is right. He said it's like debating with a 5-year-old. I'm like, or like a 5th grader. I'm like, no, you're absolutely right.
They say you're not supposed to debate creationists. That just gives them a platform.
I mean, well, they have a platform. It's one of the most largest and perverse in the world. I like to debate creationists because that's when they quickly find out they don't have good reasons for their beliefs. They have beliefs, and that's fine, but those beliefs are totally unstable. When I was talking to the people at the abortion clinic who were protesting, I was telling them, so when I get on I use this airplane analogy, that when I get on an airplane and we take off and the plane shakes during turbulence, I believe we're going to die. I'm like,
No, you don't.
I do. I
No, you
believe.
don't.
I believe. I'm like, oh my god,
You're
we're
gonna
gonna
get
fall.
on the airplane if you believe you're gonna die.
Well, man, I get on the airplane because I believe there's a high percentage that I'll survive. However, during takeoff, my belief switches to I believe I'm going to die, and then when takeoff is over, I believe we're going to be fine again. Well, wait, I'm kind of a creationist, but I also believe in evolution. But how do you justify the two?
Opposites, man.
Yeah, that's
I'm interested in the synergy between the two, though. I wonder what he has to say.
all right. Well, definitely. So I think. Pardon me if you're wrong, but I think he might go to the first cause argument, right? Which he thinks there was like a key turner. Someone winded it up and then set back and sort of watched it go. But
You're talking about the universe?
yeah. So they think someone set evolution into motion, or not they, but he might not. But the argument I heard is someone set evolution into motion. But not only is there really no evidence. Wait. Yeah, kind of. Okay, yeah. So he's saying he believes that someone started the ignition and then evolution started. The engine of evolution started running.
So it's not a Christian God, but it's a creator.
Yeah. So are you a theist? Are you a Christian in particular? He said he's sort of a creationist. That someone winded up and sort of watched it go. I guess just right now there's really no evidence to sort of support that. But additionally,
Purified.
yeah. But then we're actually gonna, because that's my boyfriend's weed.
Oh.
But we can still smoke it. But we'll definitely have to wait.
Oh, we'll definitely get some more unless
Is it
you're-
okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I'm like flat, bro. But I will totally pay. I'll just add it
He
to
says
it.
he's not religious.
Oh, okay, you're not religious. Oh, so you're a theist. So
He said he's not religious.
Okay. So see, I just fucking did it. My apologies. You can be a creationist and not a theist. Wait, I don't know. Can you? I think-
Creationism is really mostly associated with the Christianity religion.
Yeah, I think it exclusively appeals to a creator, like a god. I don't know. Wait, let me see. Because it depends on if the creator has to be a god or not.
I think most religions have a creation myth.
well, almost all of them do. But okay, wait. Creationism is the belief that a universe and life originated from specific acts of a divine creation. Okay, so creation myth.
On the second line, creation myth, which is below. Oh, it's not a link. I swear I was on
Really?
the creation myth Wikipedia page a few years ago.
Okay. Myth often refers to
Oh, you already are on the creation myth page.
Yeah. cosmological myth. I guess it would have to depend on the person's definition of a god, because it still just talks about a mythical creator. It doesn't necessarily mention the type of god described in the Abrahamic religions.
Right, the Native American religion, at least one of them believed the Earth
Yeah.
was on the back of a giant tortoise.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually don't know if creationists and theists are mutually exclusive.
There's
I
also
believe it seems intelligently designed, but not sure by what. So you're sort of agnostic to the idea, but I guess I would ask you
what exactly has been intelligently designed?
and how necessarily do you measure that, right? So we don't really have a metric for measuring or deciphering what looks to be designed and what looks to be not designed. We don't really have a sort of metric in which to measure that. So how are you measuring whether or not how like design something looks? And I'm just curious. Actually, we should probably just turn the thing back on us.
Sure.
Yeah, that probably would be best. Sorry. God.
Get a good conversation going.
Yeah, we do. Like this guy. He's cool.
Open, honest. Let's see if we can change his mind on something.
Yeah. Or, at least make sure he has good reasons for the things he believes in. I don't know, we're gonna come to an end soon too. Damn it.
What's up?
Because we're gonna come to an end soon too if we're gonna get more weed.
When does he get back?
He gets up at 11, but he gets home like 11:30.
So it's like an hour.
Yeah, good time. Oh, is he gonna answer? Oh, he's probably typing. It probably takes him a while.
Is he able to join the voice channel?
I don't know. Let's see if I can invite him. Can I invite him?
I've never done Facebook Live before.
Neither have I. I've never done a Facebook Live before. No, those are filters.
I've seen you've been doing something. I've watched one or two of your videos.
Oh yeah, I've been doing it on Facebook Live. Report, remove, put user in timeout, hide user on this channel. No, I want him.
What's he say?
Oh no, he just said those are just his previous things. He believes it's designed, but he doesn't know by what. So it sounds to me he's sort of an agnostic theist. So agnosticism is sort of your claim to knowledge where you don't know. So I'm an agnostic, atheist, anti-theist. I'm agnostic, and that's my claim to knowledge. I don't know whether or not there's a God. I'm an atheist. Atheism is my claim to belief. I don't know whether or not, or I don't know whether there's a God. Therefore, I don't believe there is a God.
I should Google blind watchmaker.
Yeah, Google blind watchmaker. But there are such thing as agnostic theists, people who don't know whether or not there's a God, but choose to believe in one anyway.
I was going to say that most things in the world work for humans, but when you put it that way,
I don't know. Right. Well, yeah. No, I mean, it's sort of easy to suspect that because we were able to operate in our day-to-day lives so comfortably, but when you think of how much exact chaos or how much things are either design or not designed but exist that work counter to human development exist,
there's a lot of things trying to kill us.
A lot of things are trying to kill us. The weather, literally, if you live in the Midwest, every year or so, the wind decides, you know what, fuck it, and just starts spinning and throwing shit around the room.
And tapeworms.
Yeah.
Fuck tapeworms.
And tapeworms. Literally, they crawl into your butthole. This is something they do. If this is designed for us, whoever designed it sucks. You did a lot of stuff. You just did a lot of, you really fucked this up. I could have, God, what wouldn't I have put in the universe? Fucking, God damn it. Fucking volcanoes. Like there's no reason for a mountain that spews 1,000-degree liquid.
That's what the only definition of a living planet is if there's volcanism.
Really?
There has to be a spinning magma core in order to have a magnetic field around the planet, and the magnetic field is absolutely necessary for life because it filters out all the cosmic rays. Those things would just kill all life immediately.
Now, see, if I was a god, I would have designed the world to exist without that prerequisite.
Another big thing volcanism does is it creates new land.
Yeah,
The world is always changing because of it.
right. And see, had I designed
over billions of years, it creates entire continents.
had I designed the universe, I would have made the existence of the world depending on something that literally won't melt you from standing next to it. I would have designed it with something nicer, like gelatin
Or Lego blocks.
or Lego blocks. Something fun. I would have
Minecraft blocks that you can pick up and put elsewhere.
right. I would have designed it with something not totally lethal from being simply in its presence. And I wouldn't have made it literally rain ash. Like, I wouldn't have made that a prerequisite. That's a bad prerequisite.
Some of the great die-offs in evolutionary history have come from volcanoes blocking out the sun.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Like killing 90% of all life.
I would have made Earth's existence not contingent upon that principle because I could design a better universe.
And it can happen again.
Yeah, exactly. Space is awesome. Whoever created us knew that we have an intrinsic need to find out what's in it and yet made it totally unsurvivable.
It could be a volcano tomorrow that wipes out the sunlight for 100 years.
Yep. Yeah. Why also has he given us an infinite power source? He could have totally done that.
Well, he gave us the mind to create cold fusion.
Is it here yet?
There was actually a recent
Why didn't he
article.
give us a more efficient mind?
They took one more step forward in cold fusion recently.
Nice.
There's a lot more steps to go, but there was some recent news about it.
Nice. Why didn't he make knowledge instantaneous? Why did he make it to where you just absorb knowledge from existing without having to learn it?
Funding or her funding. You listening? They are
I can't discount the possibility of a creator because even things try to kill humans and there's destruction doesn't mean there's no creator. I think that would be more the morality of the creator. Now, so this is the thing, right? So
That's interesting.
Right. So, but I agree with you. I also don't discount the possibility of the existence of a creator. So I'm not saying there is no creator. I'm saying I don't believe there is a creator. There could very well be one. But for me, there's just no evidence to suggest there is one yet. But I'd be unjustified in believing one until there is.
The morality aspect, I think, was the interesting point. There was a very well-known study done on the effectiveness of remote prayer.
Mm-hmm.
So remote prayer is when you pray for someone you don't know and no personal interaction with, so it's completely separate.
Mm-hmm.
You just get handed a name and a face and you're told there's someone with a critical illness in the hospital and you need to pray for them as part of this scientific study.
Mm-hmm.
And so they took one group who was not prayed for,
Mm-hmm.
and they took one group who was prayed for.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think had a better survival rate?
The group that was prayed for.
Actually, it was the other way.
Mm-hmm.
It was within the margin of error. It was only off by a little bit, so scientifically the equivalent amount. But the data was actually slightly more on the side of people who were prayed for died more.
So if God's real, he's kind of mean.
So in the conclusion of the study, there were 2 points. This study is ridiculous and should never be replicated.
Yep.
And number 2, if there is a God, it shows itself to be malignant, and we should never do this study again.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously, if he does exist, and that's the thing, like as far as, and I'm not saying you're one of these people, but Christians tell me all the time, like, oh God, oh, he said he agrees. Nice. You just do this thing all the time where they say, oh my God, what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought.
Left the station without you.
Yep. Lost my
history
train of
teacher in
thought.
high school would say that every fucking day.
Are you serious?
This guy, he was brilliant. His entire classroom was just stacks and stacks of dozens of history books he basically memorized.
Nice.
And he wouldn't teach from the textbook. He would just talk from his memory about shit.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
He just knew fucking everything.
Mm.
But he would ramble on and on and on and on about stuff, and then he'd be like, "Wait, where am I?" And he would say, just out of reflex, "I lost my train of thought." And immediately, every single fucking day, he would follow it with the same joke. It left the station without me.
Jesus Christ. And he
Great,
thought, and
he's
it was fucking hilarious to him, I bet.
We fucking laughed
Great
every single
motive.
time.
Jeez, I bet.
Motivated to talk to their benefactors and say, "You'll never guess what we found."
Actually, no, we didn't.
We found missing.
We stopped laughing.
The sympathy ensued. So
Right.
yeah.
They will find a little piece of bone here, a tooth here, and they will then take a lot of plaster of Paris, which you can see in the grave,
A bone
and say,
here, a
"See,
bone there.
when we fill in the gaps, this is what it looked like." Not only do they
Quick
not
question.
Bones connected to the raptor bone.
What is my opinion on Christianity? What in particular do you mean? Like on its validity?
I find all religions equally ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm an anti-theist, so I don't necessarily think religion is always bad 100% of the time forever. I just don't find religion particularly useful. In that I don't think there's anything you can do without religion or with religion that you couldn't do without religion. That includes
Morality is not. Christianity does not have a monopoly on morality. Morality actually comes from evolution.
Yeah.
There was a Richard Dawkins' seminal work is called The Selfish Gene.
Yep,
You
I
should,
love that
you
book.
should definitely read that. That's
Yeah.
my favorite book.
I've read that book. I
It's-
really like it.
It totally walks you through step by step how evolution happened
Yeah,
from the beginning when it was self-replicating molecules.
right. Do I think it's a tool for genocide? No, but I don't think.
What is that?
Do I-
Christianity as a tool,
Tool
for
for
genocide.
genocide.
All religion can be a tool.
Yeah,
It just matters who wants. It's a political power.
right,
And you can see it today with Donald Trump.
right.
He's pushing those levers to rile people up to support him, to give him votes,
Right.
and it's sick.
Absolutely. If you're asking me if I think, I don't think the purpose and the founding of religion was for the purposes of genocide, right? I think it's for this intrinsic human need to sort of find and form community and to sort of rally around something, right?
I think religion formed as a way to explain the universe,
Mhm.
a way to explain the universe before we had tools to study it.
Right. But it also did, given its time, but Christianity in particular, given its time, I mean, think about who wrote it. They were poor Jewish peasants who at the time were the most hated people, in that era. So they created themselves basically a superhero to save them from all the nonsense going on from around them. from their own
In
persecution.
2,000 years, people are going to believe that Superman was a real person.
A real person. They're going to actually believe that. Cultures make up parables all the time. That's how we got the idea that Christopher Columbus went to the United States. He's never been here. Is that Italians who were treated like crap when they got to the U.S. had to formulate a superhero in order to make themselves look good. And Christopher Columbus
is
is
the islands, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that was the purpose of Christianity, but I think Christianity, it is true that it can be used as a tool for good. It's motivating people to get off drugs and get food or whatever. Fortunately, I would prefer to give somebody food and stuff without the woo, but it's also used to justify a lot of bad things that people do. It's used to justify some good things people do, but it's also used to justify some bad things people do. But because there are good people in Christianity, it doesn't make Christianity good. It doesn't demonstrate that Christianity is good. It just demonstrates there are good people in Christianity. I like that answer. It is much more acceptable. Right. So no, I don't think it's a tool for genocide. I think that it's used to justify bad things people do. I don't think that's its purpose. I think it just comes from an intrinsic need to build community around an
There's
ethos.
a lot of conflicting statements on the Bible where you've got a moral question. In one book of the Bible, it might come down on one side of the conversation. another book of the Bible, totally flip side.
Right.
So no matter what you internally believe, you can find a verse in the Bible to justify it.
Absolutely. So I think that's more or less what it's used for. But again, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything that can be done with religion that can be done without it. People, take what is that program? Alcoholics Anonymous. They're like, oh well, it's done. It teaches you to put your trust in something greater than yourself. It teaches you community. It teaches that. It's like, yeah, but the greater than yourself part, that doesn't necessarily have to be a god. I think a lot of things are greater than myself. I think the safety
Britney
and welfare
Spears is definitely greater than both
she
of
is
us.
great. Beyonce is greater than myself. I think the welfare of small children is greater than myself. I think the health and welfare of small children is greater than myself. Why can't those things be my driving factors? Why do I have to appeal to some imaginary guy who's basically attributed to nothing more than destruction and genocide?
The Old Testament God
Yeah,
is very, very cruel.
and to be honest, Jesus wasn't much better. Basically, just because Jesus didn't say the stuff from his dad didn't mean Jesus didn't say his own problematic shit. He absolutely did. Was the New Testament
it's like having
better?
a racist grandpa that rubbed off on you.
Yeah, seriously. Was the New Testament better? Sure, but that's also comparing the New Testament to the violent genocidal Old Testament. So that's just
we've come a lot farther than that time.
We have-
in terms of human society. We've had the Industrial Revolution.
yeah,
We've had Enlightenment.
absolutely.
Yeah,
It's better relatively, but that's like saying that,
we've come up with human philosophies that have surpassed that era's philosophies.
absolutely far beyond.
Monkey, but they don't have the missing link between the alligator and the rats, and between the bats and the birds, and
The bats and the
they're
birds.
missing them.
That's
Because there are similarities among species does not prove evolution.
Watch
Let me
this.
illustrate that. I've got a picture here on the screen. I've got a new pickup truck
Perverted by
and
the
a car
Catholic Church.
and a motorcycle.
Wait, what did he say? He said
The
something
Bible's been perverted.
perverted by King James and the Catholic Church.
The original Bible was written in Sanskrit.
Yeah. Well, that's another reason it challenges validity. It's not even stable. One thing I find weird is that people are atheists for every other religion except for their own. The way they feel about other religions is exactly how atheists feel about theirs.
Do you believe in Zeus?
Right? No. Why?
I believe in Zeus the exact same amount that I believe in Yahweh.
Literally the exact same amount. Like that's where the problem stuff
But
comes from.
from where?
Where does the problem stuff come from? Yeah, just elsewhere. But yeah, you got atheists for every single other religion except for yours for the exact same reasons. You totally get it. You just choose not to apply it to yours. But I feel like what evidence do you have to suggest that Christianity in particular is the right one? I mean, or that the Bible is the true book.
Mormons.
True.
Mormons the only ones that get in.
The Mormons are the only ones that get in. But I mean, it's true though. Muslims have the original copy of their book. The Quran
They
was
do.
never edited.
It was written after the printing press was created, right?
Yeah, they have their
So
original holy book.
He wrote his
No
he
versions.
wrote his book down. He had his notebook.
Yep.
He sat in a cave for a few weeks
Yeah.
and just
Started going.
Just started
Right.
going.
So what makes Islam less true than Christianity? Again, they have, or what makes the Bible
But then he
less?
took this thing he wrote, took it to the printing press, and had a few thousand printed and started distributing to people.
Right, and it's been the same book ever since. They say that the Catholic Church perverted it to create and maintain white supremacy.
White supremacy.
Not white supremacy, but supremacy. Period. I mean, the Catholic Church is a little older than racism, even though it's a
Yeah.
severe cause of
The
it.
Catholic Church has been the most powerful organization in human history for literally millennia.
Right. The Catholic Church didn't do it to promote white supremacy. The Catholic Church did it to promote Catholic supremacy. That's all it was. It was a nation and race of people in and of itself.
We go to Africa to make black
Yeah,
Christians.
they didn't give a fuck what color you were as long as you were listening to the Pope and giving them money. Like they did not care. Just listen to the Pope and pay them. Like, thank you. I thought I was going crazy. No, it's not white supremacy. It's Catholic supremacy.
There are people who will lie to you in a way that is dishonest,
Right.
and convince you of things that just don't make sense.
Right. Now,
So you have to start with a rational basis, and talk to people about it. Don't take our word for it.
absolutely. Yeah. Do all the research yourself. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that think like you and like us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
But don't go down the rabbit hole of hate.
Right. But I do think
keep it positive.
Right. I do think white supremacy might have been a side effect of Catholic supremacy, in that all the Catholic leaders and people in control are and always have been Caucasian. And so, I mean, I think that.
Cool. One is a Kawasaki made in Japan.
Japan. What
One
about
is
He just
Ford.
compared
Michigan, I
living
suppose, and one is a
organic
GMC or Dodge, I forget.
things to car mates.
All made at different factories. Because they have things in common does not mean one came from the other. The motorcycle did not evolve into the car, which then evolved into the truck. Why do they have something?
Well, one,
environment?
that's partly true. However, the concept for the SUV evolved into a few things. But additionally, cars and humans and living things, biological things, are different, stupid.
so the term evolution just means going from one state to a different state. It doesn't mean going from a bad state to a good state. It doesn't mean going from a neutral state to a better state. It just means when you're existing in one world and the environment changes, or you branch out to a different part of the world that has a different climate, your body responds to it through genetic disruptions.
Right.
So small mutations turn into, over the course of literally billions of years,
Right.
sustained changes
Right.
that over the course of that period of time makes organisms good at living in the environments they've found. There's certain organisms that can only exist with different organisms,
Right.
and they've evolved along parallel paths. So they used to be individual organisms, different species. So you got species A and species B, where if one species disappears, the other can't even exist.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Like bees.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
the bees all disappear, there's a lot of crops that can't exist.
Yep. Like,
DNA is a good point.
yeah. Also,
Cars-
cars don't have DNA.
Cars cannot self-replicate.
They cannot self-replicate.
That's the biggest difference.
They lack the deoxyribonucleic acid in order to do so. No, you're absolutely right. But that's why that term "more evolved" doesn't make any sense.
Right.
The thing is not more evolved.
Nothing is more evolved.
Yeah, it's
we talk about intelligence as being more evolved, and you can make the argument for that. But
yeah. So you can sort of make the argument for that, but humans are not more evolved or less evolved.
we have the
Just
skills.
evolve.
We evolved the skills to live in very different environments,
Very much so.
and you can only do that by being adaptable.
Yep. And depending on the person you're talking to and how they value metric as far as survival goes, one can make the argument that we were, quote, more evolved back in our old times because we were more suited to our natural environment. But now we've actually somewhat set backwards because we don't adapt so well to the natural environment. We've adapted to these pseudo environments we've created, like our apartments and homes.
Try it standing on the beach for a full day when you're as white as I am.
Right. You will burn and get cancer. I'm sure that wasn't the thing for Australopithecus. back in the day when they slept actually on the ground like cattle.
We're privileged in this church to have.
Do you think humans can maintain the massive amount of data we ingest on a daily basis at this time? Oh
At
yeah.
this rate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Mostly because if you're talking about brain information, it's not a material thing. So it's it doesn't take up physical space. Just their considerations require certain cognitive processes that may inhibit other cognitive processes. But it's not a physical thing.
So I'm a software developer.
Yeah.
In computer science terminology, there's something called a neural network, and it's basically designed to simulate the human brain, where you've got different neurons. So a neuron is a type of cell, and you can think of it like a transistor in a computer, if you know how basic computing works. It's basically the tiniest bit of, is this a 0 or a 1? And you can build up some pretty complicated algorithms using that. And it's designed using neuroscience from things that we've learned about the physical representation of data in the brain.
Yeah.
Deep learning and AI. AI is going to be a really cool field over the next 10 and 20 years.
Hey, dude, add me, like, follow my channel or whatever, add me so I can keep you, because I want to, you got to watch this guy. He's a friend of mine. I know him, like, personally, but he's on my Facebook and YouTube, and he talks about AI, and the shit he's working on is fucking insane. Like, yeah, add me or follow me or whatever, and then I'll somehow link you two together so you can watch his AI shit, because it's so awesome. And he kind of plugs into all that stuff. He's a really cool kid. He's actually really, really smart. His name's Justin Lewis. It's really cool. But yeah.
Have a number of doctors, physicians, even some scientists, teachers, and I'm calling on Dr. Steve and Michelle Friend because they're two doctors. Come on up here for a sec. Do you believe in creation or evolution?
He just said he's a subscriber.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate
it. Or it seems logical based on your studies.
No, it seems logical.
Don't you have to ask for a donation now?
Dr. Steve? All right. You've
Fucking Twitch streamers.
also probably
Right?
exposed to both
No, man.
and
This shit's free, man.
Before your presentation.
I'm not looking to make spread information in the conversation.
Okay, we're glad we can find that.
Is just talking about things.
Credibility lended, and it gets on my nerves. Jordan Peterson does this shit. It drives me insane. He got two people with PhDs up there. Here's what he said. He said, "Hey, doctor, do you believe in Christ?" "Yes." "Okay, hey, other doctor, do you believe in Christ?" "Yes." "See that? Two smart people believe in Christ. He's real. Get out." Like, that's basically what he just did.
You know, there's they say you have to respect each side of the argument, but at certain times you just don't.
Yeah, right. Let me turn this so you can see it, because it's so ridiculous.
The motorcycle did not evolve into the car, which then evolved into the truck.
That's true.
Why do they have so many things in common? Because they operate in the same environment. We're privileged in this church
On
to
a
have a
road.
number of
They all
doctors,
operate
physicians,
on a
even some
road.
scientists,
Right.
teachers,
What?
and I'm calling on
What is
Dr.
he
Steve and
talking
Michelle
about?
Friend.
He doesn't
They're
even
two
know.
doctors. Come on up here for a second. Do you believe in creation or evolution?
Creation.
Is it because your church mandates it, or it seems logical based on your studies?
No, it seems logical.
Based on your studies. Dr. Steve, all right. You've also probably been exposed to both teachings. And do you believe in evolution or creation?
Before your presentation, evolution.
Okay, first of all, if this whack ass argument convinced you, shame on you. Shame on you.
Repetition is a powerful tool.
That's true. But if you got a PhD and you walked into this thing believing in evolution, you either A, are lying, B, never had a good understanding of
That is
evolution.
the key. You don't believe in evolution. You understand evolution.
Right, exactly. B, are lying, or C, you are, what was C? I forgot what C was. Either you're lying, you don't understand evolution, or you're absolutely the most gullible person on planet Earth.
Gullibility is a big piece of it. That's the only way pyramid schemes work.
Yeah, seriously, you are easily fooled by literally anything.
Like these pastors, these professional people who come on TV, they make millions and millions of dollars.
Come on, he's even dressed like a...
How's that a Christian thing to do?
Right, he says you can't trust a guy. It looks like a Sinestro. Right, he looks like he's got...
What?
A Sinestro?
What's that?
What's a Sinestro? Tell me what that is. The pastor looks like... What's a Sinestro? I can look it up, but I think if you need to hear from you. Yeah, he looks like he's about to sell you a used car right now.
Yeah.
Like he's dressed that way. That's Sinestro.
Oh, and by the way, give me money.
Oh, Green Lantern's villains. Sinestro is a fictional villain appearing in an American comic book. Oh, gotcha. We were actually making fun that he looks like the dude from Monsters vs. Aliens. He looks like the alien from Monsters vs. Aliens. Like he's all forehead.
Oh, we're glad we're making progress.
He said, "Well, I wouldn't call it that." I'm like, "Yeah, I wouldn't either. Wouldn't necessarily call it progress." Yeah. What is it?
You might call it
Regression.
evolution.
Yeah. Technically, yes, it is evolving.
I'm calling up bullshit.
It's because it's a church.
I wonder. There's a theory in evolution that suggests that your beliefs or sort of worldview has some bearing on how you evolve, and it sort of controls. It sort of has
What do you mean by how you evolve?
So like the things you do, right? So for example, if enough people believe that homosexuality is wrong and they don't practice anal sex or having regular things inserted in their butt for pleasure, then evolutionarily speaking, like the prostate gland could move because it's not really needed to be there anymore.
Yeah, all organisms that live in societies, whether it's ants or lions,
Yeah.
or birds, they all have ways of interacting with each other that are social norms.
Right.
And
What's not true? I'm sorry, you said something's not true. Tell me what's not true. Sorry.
Probably everything you said.
You're right, probably. Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, I'm curious. I want to know what you said that was wrong.
Oh yeah, no, it's just a theory that I floated around, but the theory suggests that things that you believe may actually affect how a society or how a section of human evolves. Oh, not you. Oh, gotcha.
So I was reading about these, what are they called? Baboons. And, baboons are known for being very violent. The strongest and meanest one is usually the leader.
Yeah.
And they have really bloody fights. But there's this one group, this one tribe of baboons that live near a city, and they all went into a specific dumpster. Only the strongest ones were able to go in because they fought off the other ones. But in that dumpster was something that was either poisonous or something, and they all died.
Right.
Only the biggest, strongest, meanest ones died, though, which is usually the opposite of how evolution works.
Right.
And
Usually.
this specific tribe of baboons is the only one in the world where they're not violent, they're pacifists.
Jesus.
So that's how evolution can get started, is when, like you were saying, a society changes their behaviors on how they interact with each other.
Yeah.
Because no longer was the biggest one the most, what's the word? Not the biggest one was not the best anymore. It was the one that was able to be the most social.
Right. So the baboons became docile from epigenetics.
I'm not sure what epigenetics is.
Hey Google, what's epigenetics?
According to Wikipedia,
That's
epigenetics
like
is the study of heritable phenotype changes that do not involve alterations in the DNA sequence.
So basically, how is it based?
Heritable phenotype changes.
I think it's how genetics move about a community or a set of people.
I didn't understand the explanation.
So, you know how people in Norway tend to be really, really tall? That's because of certain environmental factors that have caused them to evolve to be tall.
Mhm.
How those genetics move about. Based on traumatic events. I don't know what you're asking. We have to go. We have to go get read soon.
Alright.
Like eating poison.
Maybe that's one way that evolution happens, but There's a lot of ways. They don't necessarily have to be catastrophic events.
Yeah.
They happen over billions of years.
Yeah. The theory just suggests that a person's beliefs can shape how they evolve. So there's it suggests there's a possibility that Christianity is affecting how people evolve to their environment. Yeah. But we're probably gonna go. If you hit the bell, I'll let you know next time I'm on live. I'll probably be with Nick or other folks or by myself or whatever. But yeah, I usually talk religion or politics and get stoned doing it. It was nice talking to you guys. You're cool. Have a good night.